So the technical issues continue. But yeah, so if you look at that bucket as a comparison, and that's just how it's come out. There's some of the siftings in here as well, but what a lovely material to add to any compost mixes, etc. What didn't break down, what didn't go through the sieve before will probably go through now, but this will be either used for the potatoes or to top those pallet collar beds up. Part 1 of this will be in the top of the screen at some point. So that's my Wormery, my giant Wormery, about 1.2 cubic meters. If you look at hashtag starting a new allotment, this is one of the galvanized tanks that was rotten, so no longer able to be used to store water. So I pushed it into this corner and built all this around. I'm hoping to be able to get all this wood off. This is where the rats chewed through, so I'll put some nails in. But in the other holes, I stuffed some sheep's wool. But originally, I had this out of a skip, the insulation stuff. This thick plastic at the bottom helps me to be able to shovel without damaging the thin stuff. Because this is at an angle and then it nips down here into this little bit of a filter, if you can call it a filter, and all the juices flow out into that container. As you can see, I've got to be a bit more vigilant and practice what I preach, but if I can get all this off, the guttering will have to change because we're moving this over to the fence line. The tank's heavy enough as it is without having to mess about with everything. The wooden pallets have probably had the day. The bricks here are for the hibernacularum, so there's creatures hopefully living under there. So we'll have to be very careful once we start that. But the weather's warmed up quite a bit now. So let's just uncover that so you can see what I was trying to tell you. As you can see there, that plastic helps to stop the debris and it gives it a chance to soak away. But as you can see, the worms get in. And there's some lovely material there. I'll clean this out every year and restack it all, but they still get in somehow and do a cracking job, and sometimes they do try and escape out of there into that container, and there's some mesh on the container as well to try and stop the worms falling in. They're little devils. And you can see there, when we did have issues with the rats, they were gnawing at all of that, so I might just pull that off now and see what damage has been done. But of course, a bit of skip diving, we've got a little bit there to replace any that have been nibbled away. Well, there isn't so much damage as I thought, and I thought that hole there went all the way down, but it doesn't, so perhaps they just made a nest in that corner. I'll try and block all the holes up, but as we all know, mice, rats can get through the smallest of holes. If you're going to try and stop them, it's got to be the finest gauge, and mice can squeeze through a hole the size of a pencil. Just think about that. Well, that looks a bit bare. I think I might have to go and find the video where I built this, and I'll try and pop it on the end screen. And I also forgot that the worms, they've got a nice insulated bottom. And look at all that compost there that's probably been there years and years, that's been hidden behind the plastic. I need to collect all that there before it starts running down. Even though that's just a few scrapings, we can't waste nothing these days at the price of everything. Today is a sad day. because I'm taking my old freezer to the tip. Goodbye, my freezer friend. So this is in 2 parts. Pop back and see part 1. Hopefully I'll find my tripod and produce better videos. Now, if it ain't the weather, it's me. Something that I like to do while I've been busy over there this morning, I've filled the last container up. Could have done this a long time ago, but precious. We enjoy our time at the allotment, but I'm using the Melif transfer pump, which I showed earlier, but because of technical difficulties, we've lost all that. Another couple of minutes and that'll be full, and we won't need to transfer any more water. That's been beavering away for the last hour and a half, but that's moved about 500 litres. Terry's put the kettle on. I've got 2 new filing cabinets there. I was going to take them home because I've made space now because of the freezer now being in the conservatory, but they sit nice there. I need somewhere for all my junk. It's time for a brew. Wow, coffee stocks are low. And just a quickie, please do not attempt to try and send anything via PayPal or the other one, buy me a coffee type thing, because I don't think, my PayPal's just not working, and I don't think we get the right amount of money from the buy me a coffee, etc. I'm just quite happy for you all to support me like you do from the start to the end of my videos, even if there is several parts and the entertainment's not always brilliant. 22nd of February 2026, rain all night. We've had some sunshine today. It won't be long before I'm going home, help Mrs. K out, and then get off to the tip. If you like the content, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. The interaction, please leave me a comment, reply to those comments that are in there. Don't forget to give those comments a thumbs up. It all helps. We learn from the comments. And why not consider subscribing if you dare? Doesn't cost nothing. Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now. Don't forget the end screens.